The H1B Guy here, and today, the H1B Guy news for December 4th, 2020. Today we'll cover H1B, OPT, and Facebook lawsuits, S386, and wage rule updates. But before we get started, I'd like to ask you, if you haven't already, to please subscribe to the H1B Guy channel here on YouTube. It helps me to produce more content like this for you. I also wanted to mention the H1B Guy offers a variety of consulting services. If I can provide you peace of mind by helping you bridge the gap between your employer and your immigration attorney, please reach out. I'd love to hear how I can help you. Well, this was a really big week for the news. We have a lot to cover, but I wanted to start off with making a very special announcement. The H1B Guy is now sponsored by RecruiterNetworks.com. Who is RecruiterNetworks.com, you may ask? Well, RecruiterNetworks.com is the smart solution for digital perm ads since 2001. The National Job Board Network provides recruitment websites in 1,024 major U.S. metro areas. Each local job board is its own portal and is a low cost resource for immigration recruitment ads for all industries and professions with a flat price of $225 per ad, regardless of which city you choose. RecruiterNetworks.com has been the number one place for immigration attorneys, immigration ad agencies, and employers to meet the DOL requirements for the digital portion of the perm advertisement rules. RecruiterNetworks.com. Several months ago, I was introduced to Richard Allman, the owner and operator of RecruiterNetworks.com. This partnership with the H1B Guy makes a lot of sense as RecruiterNetworks.com wants to save you and your employer time and money when it comes to your external perm and other job advertising needs. Richard will be on with me next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern to tell us more, so stay tuned for that. The week after Thanksgiving 2020 was a week to remember for employment based immigration, not only here in the US, but in the UK as well, which announced on December 1st that the UK's new merit points based system was open for business, adding them to the growing list of countries including Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. One can only dream that one day we'll see something similar here in the US. Now, the news. December 1st, 2020, in an article written by Sophia Tureen for the Associated Press titled Judge Throws Out Trump Rules Limiting Skilled Workers Visas. Quote, a federal judge on Tuesday struck down two Trump administration rules designed to drastically curtail the number of visas issued each year to skilled foreign workers. U.S. District Judge Jeffrey White in California said the government didn't follow transparency procedures, and its contention that the changes were an emergency response to pandemic job losses didn't hold water because the Trump administration has floated the idea for some time but only published the rules in October. Quote, the COVID 19 pandemic is an event beyond defendants' control, yet it was within defendants' control to take action earlier than they did, White wrote. The judge agreed that the federal government didn't make a case for implementing the rules under the Administrative Procedure Act, which makes agencies accountable to the public by requiring a detailed process for enacting regulations. Quote, defendants failed to show that there was good cause to dispense with the rational and thoughtful discourse that is provided by the APA's notice and comments requirements, White wrote. I think the quotes in this article from Judge White say a lot. As I discussed at length on the H1B Guy Checks In, where does the H1B interim final rule currently stand? It was very apparent based on the Zoom hearing that Attorney Paul Hughes made a very strong case with a very weak rebuttal from the administration's counsel. The administration didn't show cause to use the APA and didn't act soon enough to mitigate the unemployment numbers at the beginning of the pandemic. Yet again, another favorable ruling against one of President Trump's executive actions to curb legal employment based immigration using the pandemic as an excuse. If I'm being honest here, I think it's clearly evident why the U.S. Chamber of Commerce uses Mr. Hughes as their representation. I'd say he's easily earned his retainer. December 1st, 2020, in an article written by Ethan Barron for the Mercury News titled H1B Foreign Student Work Permit OPT, often a visa stepping stone, upheld in court. Quote, a federal judge has ruled that a controversial work permit program for foreign students will survive a challenge from a union representing U.S. technology workers that wanted to kill it. A who's who of Bay Area tech giants, including Google, Apple, Facebook, Uber, Tesla, HP, Oracle, and Salesforce had joined the fight, seeking to protect the optional practical training program, which is often used as a path to H-1B visa. In a court filing last year, they argued that the program gives foreign students and graduates up to 3 years to live and work in the U.S., expands job opportunities for American workers by spurring economic activity. On Monday, Washington, D.C. U.S. District Court Judge Reggie Walton ruled against the union, also known as WashTech, saying he would provide reasons within 60 days. In fiscal year 2019, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services approved a record 223,284 OPT applications, according to the Cato Institute, a libertarian think tank. The number of OPT approvals nearly tripled between 2003 and 2019, with a steady rise from 2009 to 2017, and a small drop in 2018, Cato reported in May. Ah, yes, the OPT to H-1B pipeline, or quote, stepping stone, if you will. Another one of the hotly contested three-letter acronyms. And again, big tech named as plaintiffs in another lawsuit surrounding temporary foreign workers. There's no denying the realness of this cycle. The question has to be asked, what impact will the impact of the reduction in the F1 visas for 2020 have in the years 2023 and 2024, when most of these STEM graduates would be hitting the workforce? Here we have a federal judge ruling against a tech worker alliance and favorably for big tech. I'm looking forward to Judge Walton's reasonings on this ruling sometime in the next 60 days. December 2nd, 2020. In a tweet posted by Senator Kevin Cramer at 8:16 p.m. that read, quote, we passed the Fairness for High-Skilled Immigrants Act. Tonight, I got to preside over the Senate as we passed our bipartisan bill with unanimous consent. There's also an embedded video in the tweet that's just over a minute and 14 seconds with Senator Cramer and Senator Mike Lee from Utah. This news literally came out of nowhere, or at least it felt like it to me. I covered what I think is next for S386 on the H1B Guy Live unedited and unscripted Q&A 9 yesterday. Please check that out if you have time. There's a lot of work still left to be done, and especially for the H4 Delta kids. So look for more on that from me next week. December 3rd, 2020. In an article written by Tony Rahm and Abigail Holzlauner for the Washington Post titled DOJ Sues Facebook alleging it improperly hired foreign workers and discriminated against Americans. The Justice Department on Thursday sued Facebook over allegations that it discriminated against Americans in the way it hired temporary foreign workers for thousands of well-paid positions. The lawsuit contends that Facebook failed to properly advertise at least 2,600 jobs and consider applications from U.S. citizens before it offered the spots to foreign workers whom the tech giant was sponsoring for green cards granting permanent residence. Facebook's practices violated federal laws that require employers to demonstrate that there are no qualified U.S. workers available before it offers positions to temporary foreign workers it is sponsoring, the Justice Department said. The lawsuit reflects the long-running war between the Trump administration and the tech industry over immigration. In his 4 years in office, Trump has instituted a range of policies that crack down on foreign travelers, immigrants, and workers, often drawing sharp rebukes from Facebook and its digital peers in Silicon Valley, which have challenged the U.S. government repeatedly in court. In its complaint, the Justice Department said Facebook has eschewed its traditional hiring process in cases where it wanted to hire an employee on an H-1B visa for a permanent position. When a temporary visa holder sought such a job, Facebook diverged from its normal recruiting protocols, according to the government, opting in some cases against advertising the position on its external website. I can't say I'm surprised here. I'm sure there is plenty of evidence of guilt here, and Facebook should be held accountable for that. Depending on the extent of the violations, I'm not sure if monetary fines are enough. This could be a real opportunity for the Department of Justice to really make an example that this type of fraud isn't going to be tolerated. With that being said, the entire perm labor process is such a complete and utter mess. For the longest time, TV, radio, and newspaper ads were required. That's changed more recently, and there's a lot of immigration tech firms that have helped make this process more automated, but still a tedious mountain of papers to say the least. But this is just not a good look and completely not acceptable if true. This does definitely feel like one last uppercut from President Trump's administration directed towards Facebook, who's been a thorn in their side, and a warning shot to other big tech giants. Curious to see how this one is going to play out. Want to give thanks to Alan for the heads up on this article. December 3rd, 2020. Department of Labor released an announcement on foreign labor certification titled OFLC announces updates to implementation of wage protections interim final rule compliance with district court orders. Quote, the department is taking necessary steps to comply with the court's orders, including making required technical changes to the foreign labor application gateway flag system in a manner that minimizes service disruptions for customers and OFLC staff. Specifically, the department must make changes to the flag system modules to replace the October 8th, 2020 through June 30th, 2020 wage source year data that was implemented under the IFR with the OES prevailing wage data that was in effect on October 7th, 2020. Beginning around 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time on December 15th, 2020, OFLC's MPWC will resume processing all pending and new Form EDA 9141s for use in filing LCA and PERM applications and will use the OES survey data that was in effect on October 7th, 2020 for prevailing wage determinations where the OES survey data is the prevailing wage source. Okay, so here we have it. The DOL is going to enact the wage rule between October 7th and December 15th, but will begin accepting filings on December the 9th. The good news for now is that this will quickly be a thing of the past. I know that several of you who have reached out to me and have been waiting to file your case until knowing what was going to happen with this wage rule and lawsuit was determined. Looks like waiting until December 9th is the new date to file LCAs using the wage data from October 7th, the previous wage rule. So I would plan on using that date or some date after for your filing. Hopefully, this will provide you with some peace of mind about your filing extension or amendment that you may be looking to submit and the timeline on that filing going forward. I want to give thanks to Nirvan on the heads up on this one. Appreciate you sharing the link. For the full post on the H1B Guy news for the week ending December 4th, 2020, please check out the H1BGuy.com. If you haven't already, please join the H1B Guy channel on Telegram and follow me on Twitter. On Monday, December 7th, be on the lookout for the H1B Guy forecast, January 2021 Visa Bulletin predictions. And a reminder that today's post was brought to you by RecruiterNetworks.com. If you haven't already, please like this video, please subscribe to the H1B Guy channel here on YouTube, and click the bell for notifications so that you're notified anytime we post new content here to this channel, or I go impromptu live like I did yesterday. If you've made it this far, I just want to say thank you for taking the time to watch my content. I really appreciate your support. The H1B Guy, your global source for all things H1B.